Hello everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a website using Google Sites. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm going to create a new site. I clicked on More and then I went to Sites. I signed in, and I signed in as my regular Gmail account, but you could sign in as your main 207, and all the features, all the same things will be there. So I'm going to click on create a new site right here. And the first thing that I get offered is to choose a template. So site templates are like pre-created websites that have images and pictures and a lot of things already entered in there. You can see that there's already a bunch of reminder field trips and a class calendar, and all the links are set up. If you choose this, then this template, all of the things that you're seeing right now will be on your page automatically, and then you can just edit them. You can see there's already even pictures loaded into this. So rather than using this classroom site template, I think that I'm going to use something a little bit easier to work with. Here's another example of just a different template that you can use. The templates help you get started with something, you know. So you don't have to necessarily start from scratch. I'm just going to use this template. It's a little bit, it's pretty clean. It's a little bit easier to work with. There's not a lot of text in there. I could start with one of the more complex ones, but then I just end up deleting a lot of stuff. So your site name, this is what goes on the very top of a website. It's basically the title. Now your site will be located, this is the URL or the link to where your site will be going. Notice that I'm adding on to this test site because I've found, just by playing around with this, that the word test site is already taken. Your site location, your URL must be unique, so it can't be taken by anyone else. So although the name of my site is test site, and it'd be nice to have just sites.google.com/site/test site, I know that that URL is already taken. So I'm going to make it like main test site 12345, which I know is not taken. Now a theme is a little bit different than a template. A template has everything, like all the pictures and images already kind of pre-built into it, and where calendars are and stuff like that. A theme is like custom colors and fonts and sometimes backgrounds. So because you're using a template, you don't necessarily need to choose a theme. However, you can always change the theme later. You can't choose a template later though. The template's just really there to help you get started. You can always change the theme, but you cannot change a template. The site description, if your site is ranked in Google, this is what comes up at the little bottom. Share this. If you want everybody to be able to see the page, you can just click on share with everyone in the world, and that will publish the website immediately to the web, and anyone can access it. And of course, if there's mature content, you probably don't want to be having that site on a main 207 website. So I'm going to type that in and create the site. Now it does take a little bit of time to create the site. Alright, perfect. Now that my site's created, you can see I'm going to bring up another web browser here. I'll bring up Internet Explorer. I'll paste the site, my new site URL, and you can see that the site is live. Anyone on the internet can access it already right away. It's a little bit different though, you can see. This is what the general public sees right there. This is what you see. You get the edit page, more actions, you get a couple of extra features here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click on edit page. In edit page I can select different text. I can basically edit the page like it was a text document. I can also, just like a text document, I can bold things, I can highlight things, I can change the font sizes. I can do that all up there. I can also change, this is called a header. I can change the header to really anything that I want. Now there's a couple things that I can't change. I can't change the word test site, and I can't change the navigation bar. If I don't want to save changes, I can just click on cancel rather than save changes, and it will revert back to the previous page. You can also revert back to even if you click save, I could always revert back, and I'll show you how to do that later using revision history. So inside of here, I have right over here this navigation bar, and if I click on edit the if I click on this, like I would want to edit this navigation bar. I can't do it by clicking edit page. I have to click on that edit sidebar. Just like Google, there's always a couple different ways to do things. Rather than hitting edit sidebar, I'm going to click on more actions, go down to manage site, and then I can click on site layout here, and this gives me the same exact spot. So like everything in Google, there's multiple ways to do things. If you want to edit the sidebar, you can either click the link, edit sidebar, or go to more actions, manage site, and then actions. Alright. So let's go into manage site. Let's take a look at all these things. Recent site activity. Recent site activity is actually, that's where all of your revision history is going to be located, because we haven't done a lot of editing to the website. Nothing's there yet. However, towards the end of this video, we'll go back in there and you can see all the revisions that were made to different pages. Here are all the different pages that exist. You can't edit pages here, or you can't create pages. This is just a listing of all of the different pages on your website. Same thing with attachments. Here's a list of all of the different attachments that have been attached to your website in some way. Now you can upload files here, and you can delete them, but this is more of a viewing place to view all the different things that have been uploaded. So we can see, because we chose a template, there's already a bunch of stuff populated. If you hadn't have chosen a template, then none of this would be here. Now I can go to page templates. Now you don't have to have just a basic like web page. You can have a list or a file cabinet. File cabinets are great for if you're putting up a bunch of PDF files. It just looks a lot cleaner. An announcement, that's like a mini blog of announcements. So it's much easier to, rather than having a full page, it's much easier to enter text in like little short increments on the announcement page. You actually get a little gadget for announcements. We'll talk more about gadgets later. App scripts is brand new to sites, and there will actually be no questions on your exam about it. But if you wanted to insert a script or something like that from HTML, you can add it here and then just insert it into the site. It's called code injection. You don't really have to worry about that though. It's a little bit more of an advanced feature that they just added. Deleted items, so if you had deleted a page, it would show up there. We haven't deleted any pages, so nothing shows up in deleted items. Under general, I can change the site name. That's what appears at the top of pages. It appears at the top of pages because I have that little checkbox, show site at the top of pages. As we move down, there's a bunch of different things. So if statistics, if I wanted to use Google Analytics figures out like how many people have visited your website, and so on. If I wanted to use that, I could enter that information in there. You have to sign up for Google Analytics separately from Google Sites. It's an add-on. If I was using a different language than US, I can change that there. Access settings, so I can currently, anyone can access this website on the web. If I only wanted people that I shared the website to access it with, I can change that right there. I can also change who has access to the revision history. The revision history just shows basically pages and how they progress. So if I wanted collaborators to be able to see previous pages that I've already deleted, I could share that to just specific people, but the general public wouldn't be able to see that. Alright, I'm going to move back up the page here. Now I'm going to go to share this site. Sharing the site allows me to add people to be able to basically edit the site, or if I wanted to just allow specific people to view the site, I could do that as well. So the share settings are basically just like Docs and just like Calendar. If I wanted to add an editor, I can do that. So I'll add Ink as an editor. Just type in his email address, and then I hit share. Now, as a default, it makes Hank Thiele, allows him to edit. You could change it so he's the owner of the site and only I can edit, so you can change permissions of who owns the site. You can also change if somebody just wants to be able to view the site if your page isn't public to the world. You can also remove editors. Monetize, so this uses Google AdSense. If you want to, that's an additional feature. It's not necessarily integrated into sites. You'd have to go to google.com/AdSense and sign up for that. That basically just puts on additional like banner ads and things into your website, so you can make a little bit of money. You usually don't make too much money with Google sites though, so I would actually recommend against monetizing. It just kind of clutters up your website. So if you had a .com, you can actually add the website here. You're actually going to have to edit the CNAME directory, which is a little bit complex, but Google has good tutorials on how to do that. Again, this is like if you had, like, for instance, my school website is greichelt.com. So rather than my sites.google.com/sites/greichelt, or I think it's gregory.reichelt, it's just greichelt.com. This is the spot where I would add greichelt.com, and so my students can go there. Site layout, we've seen this before when we hit that edit sidebar. We can change the layout. We can change how the page looks. So right now the header is kind of small. That's where the title is. I'm just going to go ahead and increase that. I'll increase it to 100. Sidebar, I can change where the sidebar is. I can change the width. I can also change the footer, where that is. Now we can see that the header is actually going to be a little bit bigger. I made it 100 pixels, and I changed where the sidebar was. Sidebar was on the left, now it's on the right. If you so right here, this is where I would actually edit the sidebar. You can see it has navigation. Here's all the different links that appear in there. If I wanted to add something, I'd do that. Now notice this. If I accidentally click on a different link without hitting the Save Changes first, this confirmation comes up. It makes sure that I'm not doing something that I don't want to do. It's saying, hey, you changed something on this website. Google Sites doesn't autosave like documents. So you have to actually click that Save Changes before you leave the site. If you don't click Save Changes and I just click Leave Pages, everything that I just did would be reverted back. So I need to make sure that I click this Save Changes right at the top. There's also one way down there at the bottom. Moving on to colors and fonts. So the page background. Right now I'm changing the theme of my site. Remember before when I said you could always change the theme? This is where I'm changing the theme. Themes are like link colors, background colors, text colors, things like that. You cannot change a template once you've already created the site. A template's just to help get people started with the website. It's not there to add on or change. So templates are something that you can select right at the beginning when you're creating a site, but that's it. So I'm going to change my theme here. I don't really like slate. Let's change it to the vinyl panel. I kind of like these colors. So I can see what that looks like. There's a little preview down there. If I wanted to change, like add a background image, I can do that right there. If I want to change the font, I can do that. You can see just as I click on it, the preview changes so I can see exactly what it looks like. The link color. Links are those things that are on your sidebar. They link to different pages, and it's really what the internet is based on. So if I change that to red really quick, you can see over there in my navigation bar, now all my links are red. Background, if I wanted to change the background color, right now it's a good two-tone color, but if I wanted to make it yellow, for instance, I could definitely do that. I'm going to hit Save Changes here. Now I'm going to go down to Themes. Now you remember that I did change the link color, but But if I decided I just really want to go back to what they had initially picked, I can click revert to customize base theme, and now when I go back to like my themes, and you'll see the link color is actually going to be what it initially was. It's not going to be red anymore because I reverted back. So I'm going to return to the site now that we've gone through Manage Site, and I'm going to show you some of the ways that you can edit pages. So I went to the About page. If I click on Revision History right here, we can see all the different versions of this page, or all the different times the page has been changed. So if you accidentally deleted something and you want to revert back, you can do that in the revision history, and I'll actually do that later. Page settings is really good. This allows you to change if people can add attachments, not people, you specifically, or commentators. Show page title. You can even change the URL to your page. So we can see now down at the bottom here, I have these attachments and comments which weren't there before because I just added those. Click on More Actions again. If I click on Print Page here, it's going to bring up a brand new window, and it just brings up a nice little page that you can print from that doesn't have all the different colors and stuff like that. Now Move Page, if I wanted to move pages under different sub-pages, this is where I would do that. Because I only have the new site and then everything's underneath that, I really can't move anything. But Move Page is great if you have like a lot of sub-pages. Like, for instance, I have a class, I have like all my classes, and then under classes is sub pages. I have my Linux class, my A+ class, my programming class. So if you want to add different like layers to your pages, then that's a great place to do it. Delete page. If I wanted to delete a page, I could do that. I don't really want to delete home because that's like the main page. So I'll delete about me. And then I'll hit the delete key, and now it's gone. You'll see though it still appears over in the navigation bar, although if you click on it, it says this page has been deleted. So we actually need to remove it from the sidebar. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit the edit navigation, click on About Me, and hit that little X to delete it. I'll hit OK to save changes. I always hit Save Changes just to make sure that whatever I've done is saved, and now About Me is totally gone. Now if I wanted to create an About page, I can do that by hitting the Create page. It allows me to create a web page, an announcement, file cabinet, or a list. Generally you're going to be creating web pages, although announcements are great. They're like mini micro blogs. File cabinets are good for if you're uploading a bunch of files. Lists are good if you're obviously just publishing a bunch of lists, but generally you're going to want to just publish a web page. The name of the web page is, and you'll notice that right down here I can put it under home, and that changes where the location is found. Right now it's at, because I clicked on put page under home, it's found at sites, main test site 12345/home, but if I do top level, it kind of gets rid of that home. Makes the URL a little bit shorter. Although if you want to have sub pages and navigate, you can definitely do that way. So now I got my new page. It says About right at the top, and I can edit just like before. I can edit this page like a document. So the first thing that I do when I create a new page is I always go to More Actions, and I click on Page Settings. I don't really like to allow attachments. I usually attach things with Google Docs rather than with just file attachments. And I also like to show the page in the sidebar. So you can add the page in the sidebar by going to, if you click on Edit Sidebar, then you can add page in that little panel that we were in, or you could go to More Actions, Manage Site, Site Layout, and do it there. Or if you want to add a new page that you've just created to your sidebar, you can just click that Add to Sidebar, that little checkbox, hit OK, and now we'll see over there in our sidebar, our navigation bar, About appears. I'm going to click on that edit, and we'll edit the navigation right here, and we can see there's about, but I don't want about to be all the way down there at the bottom, so I'm going to move about to the top of my navigation bar. Now I can automatically organize that. If I click on automatically organize my navigation bar, that's going to make things appear in alphabetical order. I don't necessarily want them to, so I'm going to click OK. I always hit Save Changes, and then return to site. Now we can see that About appears on that side of the page. Perfect. Now I have that picture on the side there. I kind of don't like that. That's not a picture of me. I kind of want to get rid of that. If I hit Edit Page, I'm still not going to be able to edit the sidebar. Editing the page just allows you to edit that specific area. If I want to get rid of that picture, that's part of the sidebar, so I'm going to need to edit the sidebar. You'll see that I have this text box right here, and actually inside of the text box is the picture of him. If I wanted to add text to the sidebar, I could add text just by clicking on that Add a Sidebar item that's right below navigation. However, I really don't want anything besides my navigations there. Later on, you can also add gadgets if you want to the sidebar. Again, I don't really want any of that. I actually want to just remove that picture, so I'm going to hit delete. Move down here, I'll click Save Changes, return to site, and his picture is gone, which is excellent. Alright, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the contact page. So you see that he has right here, he has a little contact form already set up using Google Forms. I don't really want that in here, so I'm going to click on that. When I click on Edit Page, it allows me to edit the page, and normally you'd edit like a text document. The form that he had embedded is actually a gadget, and gadgets turn off when you click on Edit Page. That allows you to edit the properties of them, change the alignment, and remove them, as I am doing. I hit the remove button, and it's gone. I could also select the gadget and hit the delete button if I wanted. Alright, well I can edit this page a little bit more, and I can insert some stuff actually. So I'm going to click on Insert and Images. In here I can upload images from my computer, or I can type in a web address where the images can be found. I'm going to choose a file. Let me just find a sample picture here. I like penguins. I'll upload the penguins for Linux. Click OK. Now it automatically uploads in its original size, which is actually quite large. But if I want to resize it, I can just click on the size small, medium, or large. Or we can go back to the original size right there. I'm actually going to keep it kind of small right there. We can also change the alignment of the picture by clicking on L for left, C for center, R for right. Wrap allows you to take the image and have text wrap around it. So I can move that image up there so the text wraps around that image, and the text can be on the side of the image. Without doing wrap, it's going to be text, image, text. The text isn't going to be on the side of the image like it is now. Again, if I try to move away from the page without clicking save, it gives me that little warning box. Now I'll go to my home page, click on Edit Page. Let's try inserting something else. I can insert some links. So if I just wanted to insert a link to google.com and have google.com displayed, I can type in the web address right here, www.google.com. If I wanted to create a link to something that's already in my site, I would use the Existing Pages tab right there. In the app script, again, that's something brand new to Google Sites. If you had added a script into the app scripts in the Manage Site, it would appear here, and it would just allow you to add it as a link. However, that's not really what we want. We just want a link to google.com. So there's our link. If I wanted to take this text right here and link it, I can do that, but I can't do it by going to Insert Link. I actually have to click on this little, let me select the text again. I have to click on the link button right up there. I'll click on web address just like before, type in google.com. Hit OK. And now I have the google.com. I have both that link and the link that I created from selecting those things. I could also have that link open up in a new tab or a new page if I checked that checkbox, but I did not. Now I'm going to insert table of contents. Table of contents, when you click on insert, it usually brings up right off the bat the properties menu. This is the properties menu of the table of contents. I hit that. Now I see the gadget, but I can't really see what that is, or what the table of contents is, so I have to really hit save site to see. Now if I had multiple pages listed and headings and stuff like that, that would all be listed there. However, I haven't set the site up that way. Again, there's different levels, just like in a table of contents, there's different levels to the pages. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Now what I did right there was I removed the link. There's both a link and the gadget properties. If you clicked on this gadget, it would actually take you to the table of contents. Just like on an image, if you click on an image, it'll take you to the big picture of the image. If you want to remove that link without actually removing the image or removing the gadget, you need to click on remove link. If you want to remove the actual gadget or the actual image, you have to hit remove right here by properties. So again, here's the properties menu. If I want to remove, I'll hit remove. Subpage listing is very similar to table of contents. However, I have all of that listed in my navigation bar, so I'm not really going to worry about that. I can insert excuse me, I can insert horizontal lines. Those are just nice little page breaks to separate what you're typing out. AdSense, so if I wanted to insert an ad, that's how I would do it. I go insert AdSense. However, because I'm not signed up for AdSense, I'm not able to do that currently. I can insert a calendar, so I'll go ahead and insert a calendar. Let me choose it. Now it's going to load up all of my calendars that I already have. I have a bunch of calendars already listed. I'll just click on my calendar right there, and I'm not going to change anything right off the bat. I'll just hit save. Now, although when I hit save, you'll notice the gadget, it looks kind of small. When I hit save, it's going to take up the entire page width. It normally takes up page width at 100%. Let me hit edit page, go back on down to the gadget here. Properties, you'll see under width it says 100%. I don't want it to take up 100% of the page width, so I'm going to specify the pixels. I'm just going to make it a little small thing, and rather than having the view, I'm going to change that to agenda. I don't really want to include the title either. Hit save. Now I can have that move, I can turn warp on, and I can actually drag that up into my page, so it's at the very top there. See, I can move it around. If page wrap wasn't on, I would not be able to do that. There's my calendar right over there. I can see it's not taking up 100% of the width, and I got page wrap on. If I turn page wrap off, you can see the text just moves right on down to the bottom, but I do want page wrap on. Now I'm going to insert a document. This is going to bring up again a list of all the documents that I have in my Google Docs. So let me just find one right here. Now I'm going to click on that Linux Team Project 2, but because that's not shared or shared to the entire world, it's not going to let me select it. But I know this Linux workgroup, this is a project that I had in my Linux class too a couple days ago. So I'm inserting that. Again, the page width, it's going to take up 100% of the page, so you can see everything that was in that document is all right there. And this is a great way of sharing documents with people without allowing them necessarily allowing them into your Google Docs. It's kind of like the view, only it's a little bit easier for people that don't know how to use Google Docs and stuff like that. You can also insert presentations, spreadsheets, YouTube videos, Google videos, same way you're using the insert for everything else. It gives you the properties, you can just edit the properties, the size of it, all right there. Let's go back to the About page. We can change a few things on here. So I'm going to insert a new gadget. If I don't want to necessarily, now all of the things that I've been inserting so far have been gadgets. Gadget is something that appears on the site that you normally can't see when you're editing the page, but when you view the page, it either loads a separate page or it adds some functionality to your website. So I can click on tools. There's all kinds of gadgets in here. You can have the news appear on your website, Twitter feeds, stocks. You can have, like, I always add usually like an email form to mine, so there's all different kinds of email forms in here. You can send text messages. You can have your, viewers of your website send anonymous email, questions, comments, how-tos. The gadgets go on and on. There's hundreds of them. So browsing through here can be kind of fun, and you can actually add some really cool stuff to your website. I'll just add a random gadget here. I'll add this send a text message. When I click add, it automatically brings up the properties menu of the gadget. If I want to access that, I'll just click on the gadget and click on properties, just like everything else so far. That width looks fine. To see it work, I gotta hit save page. No, looks like I could just type in a phone number here and then select the carrier. It doesn't look like they have very many carriers, but looks like I could just send a text message now from my website, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna edit page. Alright, so let's show you some of the different things in formatting. Under the Format tab, you can do a lot of the very same things that you can do on up there. So I can center text there. I can also center it in the Format tab. I can make things headings, which just basically increases the size of the font. Or I can align things in there. Pretty much everything that you can do on that tab right there, I can do under the Format tab. Format, it's just Google allowing multiple ways to do the same thing, whichever you find easier. So you can add a strike through, code, it just actually looks like code, it's not actually entering in HTML code. Block quote, align, so I can do all of that kind of stuff. If I wanted to insert a table, I could do that right here. Tables are actually very commonly used on the internet. Tables are very useful. If you want things lined up very well and you use tables. So usually you can just drag things in there rather than dragging that in. I'm just going to go, because I know that I already have the image in there, I'm just going to go insert image and click on the image that I already have selected and click OK. There's my penguins. Let me make that a little bit smaller and I can delete that one. Whoops. I can hit Control Z to bring that one back. I want to delete that one. There we go. So now if I wanted to, under table, I can insert rows above or below, I can insert columns, I can delete rows, delete columns. Again, tables are just a great way of organizing the information found on your website. Alright. Now layout. If I wanted to have more than one, rather than using tables, if I wanted to have two columns running all the way up and down my website, I can do that using layout and then adding columns. I can also add, with layout I can add like subheaders and I can add footers and all kinds of stuff. You notice that the table goes across the two different columns. That's because the table width is preset. You can make table width 100% and then you go across all the table or all the different columns you had on the page. Tables generally precede the layout or are on top of. If I wanted to add some code, I could actually add some code by clicking on that little HTML link and I can add some HTML code. The word HTML in the little brackets is actually HTML code, and the word code in the HTML brackets is actually code. So you'll see, now that I'm entering that, if I hit update, you'll see up there the word HTML doesn't appear, and code actually changes the text to the code-like text. So you can see that now appears up there. I've changed that. Let me save changes. Alright, I'm going to go to more actions now and look at the revision history. Now that I've made a bunch of different changes to this website, we can see that the revision history is pretty large. So there's when I had that text box. That's the first one of the first ones that I had when I just typed in that one line. The version 1 has even nothing on it. So if I wanted to compare two versions, I can do that. And I just select the first version and the second version, and I can see how the two different pages are different by just looking at them. If I wanted to revert back to a specific version, I could do that by just clicking revert back to this, and it reverts back to page 1. So this is revision 1. This is the very first one. If I wanted to now, right off the bat, I said I don't want attachments and I don't want comments on this page, but because I reverted back to a previous point in the revision history that allows attachments and comments, now I have that option again to add that. If I wanted to add that another way, I could just go to Manage Site, Page Settings, and then click on Attachments, and I can then add attachments that way. So now I have attachments. I can choose different files that I want to upload. And you can see that if you were viewing this website from like a normal viewer, now they have the ability to view that. So if you wanted to share documents, the attachments is actually kind of a nice way to do it. Now let's take a look at this. This is the home page. I have my calendar over in the corner, and when I was logged in under my Google Chrome, it looked like Google Calendar. I had the agenda over there. It looked perfect, exactly what I wanted. But right now, that gadget isn't working very well. It just says Google Calendar. It's a little bit weird. Although my document is working, it's just over here this isn't working. The reason that's not working is because my calendar is not public. It's a private calendar. So when I was logged in as myself, I could see that calendar because I was logged in as myself. But because that's not a public calendar, when I open up the page in a different browser, not logged on as me, it just gives that to show the Google Calendar because that's not a public calendar, so not everybody can see it. However, the document, that Linux group work, that is a public document. So even though I'm visiting the website not logged in as anybody, I can view that document. If I wanted to be able to view the calendar, I would have to make that a public calendar in order for it to appear on my site correctly and for people to be able to view it without being logged in. Alright, let me close that out. I'm going to go to more actions. I can also, rather than having two browsers open, I can do the more actions and preview and see what it looks like, but I generally like just using two browsers, but you can always use the preview. Subscribe to site changes, that's just all the different revision history. Every time a page is updated, it will email anyone who's subscribed to that list. So it'll say, so-and-so just updated this specific page. And there's really only one more thing that I can do to this page. I can delete it. So I'll go to General, scroll down to delete the site. Once you click on that link, it actually deletes it permanently, and you'll never be able to get anything back. All the revision history, everything disappears. So once I click that button, it no longer appears in my site. Alright, well, I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and please feel free to ask me if you have any